Welcome to Mary's School of Prophecy. I'm your host, William Tapley, also known as the third eagle of the apocalypse and the co-prophet of these end times. I've already had a lot of technical problems on this program. I'm not sure how much of this Satan will allow to get out. I do believe this is a very important program. I think it has to do with the saving of America. So, as you know, I've already done a decode of Dana Coverstone's 2022 jet stream. And I also did a decode of Amanda Freitas' Three Bears dream. And I have discovered an amazing aspect of these two dreams, and that is that they explain each other. You have to actually read them together at the same time. And I missed quite a bit of it in my two previous decodes because of that fact. Now, as you know, the media has been constantly haranguing us the last couple of weeks about a war between Russia and Ukraine. They've been telling us that Russia is going to invade Ukraine. Are they right? Dana Coverstone and Amanda Freitas say just the opposite. We will very soon find out who is correct. Now, let me show you some of the headlines. And this was just this morning. This is the Drudge Report. Headline this morning: the Ukraine invasion imminent. Russia, USA pull diplomats. Biden calls Putin oil spikes. Are they beating the drums for war or what? And of course, Biden's been doing this all along. So has the State Department. Here's the headline. I think this was this morning. Wall Street Journal. Russians have already started a hybrid war with bomb threats, cyber attacks, Ukraine says. Moscow is using cyber attacks, economic pressure, and most recently false bomb threats to undermine its neighbor, Kiev says. Of course, I know you've been hearing all these threats as well. This is from, let's see, I think this is from PBS. There's a headline. Russia reportedly makes decision on Ukraine invasion. The U.S. believes Russian President Vladimir Putin has decided to invade Ukraine and has communicated that decision to the Russian military, according to PBS NewsHour. Doesn't sound too good, does it? Here's what the New York Times says. Of course, they're not very reliable. They like to think. Sound back, people. Martin Leaf says no sound. That was Adam and Nancy. Adam and Nancy call me. And Sam Fisher called me. Dale Fody says, I see your lips moving, but I can't hear you. According to YouTube, we have the sound back. Is that true? The same thing happened to Dana Coverstone with his when he did the dream. So let me know if the sound has come back. Freitas says, sorry, I jinxed it. Freitas says, audio is back. Keep letting me know. That's why I have this phone here, because I know this is going to be a message that Satan does not want to get out. He may prevent it one way or another. So I'm going to do the best I can. So let me see. Where am I here? Did I show you the various news headlines? I need somebody that knows where I left off. Did I show you all of the headlines? Well, you know as well as I do what's been going on. I guess you read the headlines. Gee. I don't know why I even bother to do this. I'm telling you, I don't think we can save this country. But we're going to try. Let me try and see if I can't go through the prophecy of Dana Coverstone and Amanda as far as it affects the United States, because that's what it is. Satan does not want you to know this. I'm going to try to get this out today. Let me see what I can do here. I was talking about how Dana's dream and Amanda's dream, they so to speak complement each other. To understand the one, you have to read both together at the same time. This is not completely unique. Isaiah 45 and Micah 5 are the same way. You read them together at the same time. I did a video on this. Daniel 10 and 12 are the same way. That's the same chapter. You print Daniel 10 top to bottom. You print 12 in the reverse, bottom to top. And then the verses on each side explain each other. These two dreams of Dana Coverstone and Amanda Freitas are the same way. And I'm going to go through it the same way. That is, read first part of Dana's dream and then part of Amanda's dream. So the media, and I don't know if you heard that or not, the media all predicts that there will be a war between Russia and Ukraine. Russia will invade the Ukraine. All of the news outlets, New York Times, Washington Post, PBS, Biden, Dana Coverstone and Amanda say that's not true. But to understand it, we have to know the chronology in Dana's dream. Dana's chronology explains Amanda's dream. And Amanda's dream explains what's going to happen on the dates in Dana's dream. As you know, Dana's dream is divided into the gray skies in March, the black skies in September, and the vision of the wall between Russia and Ukraine. In that order. But that's not the chronological order. Amanda's dream shows the first bear, the second bear, and the third bear. But the first bear is, the first bear she sees in her house. The second bear she sees with the ribs in its mouth. The third bear she confronts in a shed. That bear has a face. But we have to read those. We have to read Amanda's bears in the same correct sequence from Dana's chronology. Now, we know about the March chronology, the September chronology, but what's the date of the vision? And we know that because he looks at his watch, and it is 2:15 in the morning. That's when he received the vision. He says about 2:15. And I've interpreted that to be March 15th. That's 2 days from now. I believe that's when the truce will occur between Russia and Ukraine, or about that. Dana says about 2:15. The 15, of course, is a rosary number, as we all know. So now let's go through. Let's make sure I have everything here. And I'm going to alternate, as I say, between Dana's dream. I'm going to start with Dana's dream and then show you how Amanda's dream explains what's going to happen. And Dana says all these things occur in 2022. And really, that's been true of all of Dana's dreams. They've all been imminent. For example, the data dream. And I've told you about that before. By the way, is the sound okay now, people? Oh, the sound is back. Okay, okay, sound is back. Okay, thanks, everybody. I have to adjust my screen to see that because I have it set up so I can read the two dreams. Okay, now, it is difficult to... well, let's see if we can go through this. Okay, we're going to start with Dana's dream. Now, I've condensed these dreams because I've already gone through this before. But I'm going to read them in the correct order, chronologically speaking. In other words, the vision, I believe, comes in February 15th, before the March and the September dates. So let's read this. Excuse me. Here is the start of Dana's dream, which is actually the vision, the third part of his prophecy. I began to walk and pace in the living room, and as I was walking and pacing, about 2:15 a.m., I had a vision. And in that vision, I was standing on the boundary of Ukraine and Russia. And I saw a large boiling pot right in the center of the border between Russia and Ukraine. And I'm going to call it a cauldron. And I saw soldiers on both sides of that cauldron. But the different sides were not engaged with each other. There was no war going on. Nobody had guns or weapons or missiles or anything. So the boiling pot, I think, actually tells very much about what's going on right now. The area is simmering, I guess you could say. I mentioned the timestamp. There's no war going on. Maybe the media ought to consult Dana Coverstone and Amanda as far as whether there's going to be war in between Russia and Ukraine. That number 15, by the way, is not just the time, as I said. It also indicates Mary's rosary. Okay, so now let's look at the second slide I have for Dana's dream. There, I should say his vision. Then I began to notice that the pot was growing larger. Now it was about 50 feet high. And I saw that going north and south off of that cauldron. It seemed that the walls began to move, and I saw that these walls were going to be the same height as the boiling pot, and went along the border of Ukraine, Belarus, Latvia, and Estonia, separating them from the Russian province, so to speak. The wall stopped at the top and the bottom, and it became taller, and it seemed like it was about 100 feet high. So the wall extending from the pot separates Russia from invading Ukraine. It's the same height as the pot. That means it's 50 feet high. That's another rosary number. That's the height, for example, of the scaffold that Haman is hung on in the book of Esther. Haman symbolizes the Antichrist. The 50 cubits symbolizes Mary's rosary, the number of Hail Marys in 5 decades. So this wall has a lot to do with Mary. The wall grows to 100 feet high. That would be doubling of the rosary number, which is 50. And I think that means that this truth will be strengthened by praying Mary's rosary. Okay, let me go to the next slide. I watched that wall get blue, cold, and it appeared as if it was suddenly electrified with a digital signal, and there was like a pulse of electricity running through that wall from top to bottom. It was ice-covered and had like almost a digital signal when you're watching somebody's heart monitor, and you see the ups and downs and the beeps. And when the night came, you could see that pulse on the western side, because as it got darker, you could see that pulse brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter. It was like a heart monitor. Very interesting. It's not an accident that Dana repeated that word brighter 5 times, as I said in my first decode. Dana did not understand that, or else he had to do his first video over again, his first dream, as you know, because of technical problems. And he left out all of the important numerology. He left out the 215. He left out the heights of the wall. He left out the brighter 5 times. It was a big mistake on his part, but that was a victory by Satan, but I think we can overcome it. The wall is a blue color, an ice blue. Blue is also a reference to Mary. That's her traditional color. The heart monitor on the wall, one of my subscribers here said that indicates the Immaculate Heart of Mary. I think that's true. The prophecy that Mary gave at Fatima was that in the end, her Immaculate Heart would triumph. Russia would be converted and an era of peace would be granted to mankind. So that heart monitor indicates, and remember, this prophecy is coming from an evangelical Christian, although I think Dana will convert. I think he has to convert. Okay, let's look at my next slide here. Continuing with Dana's dream. Now this is the last part of the vision that he had. There were also lights that were about 500 feet above those walls. Huge, massive spotlights that shone down on the wall. And you could see on both sides of the wall very easily for probably about a half a mile on each side. And they also revealed about 50 feet up along that wall, there were guard turrets. And there were two guards, each one facing a different way, one facing east and one facing west, with their backs upright to one another. And in my spirit, I heard the words that a new Cold War is upon us, and that cyber will be the new cipher. But notice Dana says a Cold War. Well, that's not what the media is predicting. They're predicting that Russia will invade the Ukraine. And now we see more rosary numbers. The lights are 500 feet above the wall. The turrets are 50 feet. We heard Dana give the term brighter 5 times. That's 555. And we know from Bible prophecy that 555 will defeat 666. So I think that the rumors of war between Ukraine and Russia are fantasies from the media. I think they know it's all a lie. I think it's a misdirection. It's so we are not aware of the real invasion that's taking place across our southern border. And 15, as I said, 555 is another rosary number. So now we've completed the vision part, or in other words, the third part of Dana's revelation. But we have to put that first, which is why we read it first. Because chronologically speaking, it comes in February 15th, just a couple days from now, or about that time, as Dana says. It'll be interesting to see if this is correct. Or will Russia invade Ukraine, as the media keeps telling us? Well, it'll be interesting to find out. Okay, now in this, so we are now going to look at Amanda's dream. And we're going to look at the third part of her dream, because that comes first. That corresponds to Dana Coverstone's third revelation, which was the vision. And just before the scene we're going to look at, Amanda is trying to escape the bear with 3 ribs in its mouth. And Amanda has been told that the bear in her dreams represents Russia. And of course, Russia is prominent in Dana's dream. So this is Amanda's first part of her dream. When I opened the door of the shed, remember this is what Amanda is fleeing to. Instead of being a regular shed, it's way bigger. And instead of a floor, there is a hole, a very deep hole. And between the entrance and the back of the shed, there is a plank. And this plank is like a bridge. So I start to crawl on my hands and feet, trying to pass to the other side and my husband is right behind me. When I go to the middle of this passage, this huge bear shows up in front of me. So now this bear, I believe, is the same bear as in Dana's vision. The bear there is a wall between the bear and Russia and Ukraine. Now the shed that she flees to, I believe, represents a refuge in these end times. And let's look at the next now. I have to be the engineer of this program, as you know, as well as the host. So now we'll look at the second part of Amanda's dream, which is about the third bear, which actually comes first. It's hard for me to keep this straight in my mind. And I understood that's not a regular bear. This is the bear she meets in the shed. Because this bear in particular had a face of an old man. And he spoke like a man. He was saying, I'm going to get you. And he was saying it in a very lascivious way. You know, like he was going to attack me sensually, if you get what I'm saying. When he says that, I said, what? And then the bear, looking straight at me, said, I don't want anything to do with you, lady. I'm going to get him. And him was my husband, who was right behind me. So the goal of this bear is not Ukraine, but the United States. And Amanda has told us elsewhere, I think, maybe she tells us here, that her husband is an American. So the bear wants America. Now this old man's face on the bear, I believe, indicates Satan. So this is an expression, this is an evil bear. This is a bear that is doing what Satan wants. This is Russia under the control of Satan. And we're going to see how Amanda handles this situation. This is continuing with Amanda's dream. And immediately I thought of Sodom and Gomorrah, where the angels were hidden in Lot's house. And the guys there wanted the person behind Lot, who was an angel. When he said that, I didn't say anything. I just touched him. And when I did, he lost his balance and he fell through the cracks on each side in the plank. My husband is an American, by the way, and he tells me, well, sometimes you just need to do a little bit of a push, and then gravity does the rest, and it's going to be fast and quick death. So now it sounds like the bear will be destroyed, which is not the same as in Dana's dream. But I think what we see destroyed is an expression of Dana, of the dream controlled by Satan. This is the aggressive Russian that wants to invade Ukraine. Ukraine is a tiny country compared to the power and the might of Russia. Russia could obliterate the Ukraine. This is an evil instigation on their part. This is what will be defeated. And this evil spirit is what's going to be overcome, and Amanda shows us how. Just a minute. Here is the next part of the dream. And the Lord impressed into my heart that I symbolized the church, the praying church. And the church is the one who was going to just move a little bit. And because the church moves a little bit, God is going to do the rest. And the power of God is going to bring this entity down, and it's going to be a quick fall and a quick death, quick destruction. And Dana says it's going to occur 2 days from now. This is the part I keep emphasizing, or about the 15th, I would say. That's why he said about. The 15 indicates how it's going to be done. And she says it's the praying church that is going to bring about this defeat of the bear. The praying church is the remnant Catholic Church. I don't think, Amanda does not understand that, but that's who it is. It's the praying church's rosaries that will cause this bear to fall into the hole. Just as in Dana Coverstone's dream, the wall is 555 feet high, symbolically speaking. And it's interesting that Amanda achieves this victory while she's in her refuge. And I wonder if that means that it's going to be our jobs, those of us who are already in our refuges, to bring about this defeat of the satanic expression of Russia as it wants to invade the Ukraine. Okay, now let's see. Go back to Dana's dream. We are alternating back and forth between Dana's dream and Amanda's dream so that we get the correct chronology. So what happens next in Dana's dream? March comes after February, after this month. And next month, Dana says that the skies turn gray. So let me read that part. So now we're going back to Dana's dream. Then it flipped up to March, and then the skies turned very gray. Not dark, not black, just gray. And I heard the distinct sounds of F-16s flying by the windows. I lived in Terre Haute for about 9 years, and we lived close to the airport, and there was an Air Force runway over there. And those F-16s would take off a couple times a day and go over our house. I heard 3 of them go flying by in March. I could not see anything outside except the gray, overcast sky. No action, no excitement, nothing. Just heard those 3 F-16s go flying by. So, the gray skies, I'm sure, indicate that America will be at peace. So, what is going to be going on? Dana says there's nothing going on. In order to find out what's going on, we have to go to Amanda's dream. Amanda explains what will be going on in this part of Dana's dream. So let me go quickly to Amanda's. This is slide 4. I dreamed. Now remember, this is actually the first part of Amanda's dream, but chronologically speaking, it occurs second. So, I dreamed that I was here in this house. I live in Pennsylvania, very close to Philadelphia. I was upstairs. I heard something climbing the stairs. I thought it was one of my dogs. When I went to see it, was this huge bear. It was way bigger than a black bear, darker than a grizzly brown bear. It was very big, and it was standing up like a person and climbing the stairs. Then I locked myself in one of the rooms, and I figured out that I'm going to run downstairs and try to make that bear run after me to take it out of the house. We ran down the stairs, and the the bear ran after me, and it came out of the house. Let me get this right here. I'll get it eventually. So the gray skies in March indicates the bear entering Amanda's house. Now, the Lord explained to Amanda that her house symbolizes the United States. The bear symbolizes Russia. And Amanda herself represents the church, by the way. So, how is this going to square with what Dana said as far as the skies? Well, that would be the skies are gray. And, am I right on that? Have I got this right? Yeah. This is in March. This is what's going to happen. The bear is going to come into Russia. But it's not as serious as we will see in September. Okay. It's hard for me to juggle these. I have about 30 slides here I have to juggle. So in just a minute. And as you know, I had technical problems already. I haven't even checked the chat lately. Okay, nobody has told me that it's... I see Sam already had to delete a troll. Okay, and I don't see any problem, so I guess the sound is still okay. So where are we? I'm going to show next the next part of Amanda's dream, slide number 2 for Amanda's dream. But how did this bear enter this house? Because I have a fence around my house. So I went around my house. The yard in this dream was way bigger. My house was way bigger as well. And when I go around, I figured out that instead of chain link, I actually have a back portion of my yard, in my back portion of my yard, a stone wall. And this stone wall had been broken, and the gate was open. Well, the bears came from there. So I ran around the house, waiting on the side. And there I met my husband, who is an American. As we get together, I look around, and there are dozens of bears in this backyard. It was way, way bigger than my real backyard. and lots of bears. So this is what's going to happen in March. It's going to be a lot of bears in her house and her backyard. Russia is going to infiltrate America. That's what's going on. That's why it's bad, but it's not going to be a shooting war. Not yet. Amanda sees all these bears, not only the bear in her house, which would be Russia, but all these other bears, I'm sure, indicate communist countries like Cuba, Venezuela. And if you read Dmitry Duduman's prophecies, there are many other countries that will be invading America. And George Washington saw that in his dream. But still, it's going to be, we're not going to be aware of this infiltration. It's going to be hidden from us, so to speak. We're going to think everything is hunky-dory. That's why the skies turn clear for April through August. But what Dana sees in March, the gray skies, is explained by Amanda's dream, in which the bear and its allies will be infiltrating America. Okay, now we return to Dana's dream. And now we come up to the bad part of Dana's dream, and Amanda will explain that also. But there are quite a few slides. Oh, wait a minute. Did I do Amanda's dream? Yes, I think I did. Okay. Yeah, now we go to... we'll go through Amanda's... Dana's. There's about 5 or 6 dreams, because this is the bad part will occur in September. But then the calendar slowly, and I do mean slowly, kind of flipped to September. And as it did, the paper seemed like it was a green leaf turning brown, like leaves do in the fall. So as the paper flipped up, it was green. And as it finally hit the wall, and it was flat against the wall, and I could see September 2022. It began to turn brown like the leaf was fading. When it finally stopped moving on that calendar, the sky outside the window became pitch black. I could hear wind, and I could hear random noises. And then I heard jets. And a group of 3 F-16s flew by the window, heading north. So I think the flipping of September indicates a gradual invasion of the United States, a hidden invasion. And if you watch the news at all of these people coming across the border, our southern border, they are mostly military-age young males. That's not accidental. And I think that Biden and the government are hiding this fact from people by distracting them with all this talk about. I don't think they even believe Russia is going to invade Ukraine. In any event, we know from what Amanda's saying that prayers are going to stop the invasion very shortly. The rosary will stop it. Now, the sky turning pitch black means that this invasion will no longer be hidden. It's going to become very real in September. Okay, let's look at the next slide I have for Dana's dream. But then the calendar... Oh, I think I read that one. Yeah, okay. I want the next... just a minute while I get my next slide in place here. They all went flying north, all 3 in formation. And right in my window of view, they paused, almost like they just stopped for a second. And I could see that these 3 F-16s were wingtip to wingtip. They had flashing red and yellow lights on top and bottom. And after the pause, they rocketed by at a great speed and were soon out of sight and not heard again. And they were moving like they were on a mission, and it reminded me of seeing some of the jets over New York on 9/11. They had a place to go, and they had to get there fast. So this is the black in September. I think World War III has started. I think that's what Dana sees here. The flashing lights, there's been a lot of speculation on that. They're red and yellow. That indicates, of course, red and caution as far as stoplights go. Those are also the colors of the Chinese Communist flag, red and yellow. I think it also means that these jets are over America. They are not at their destination yet. They're on a mission somewhere else, and they are flashing their lights. Let me see. No sound, no audio again? Are you kidding me? Sam says there's no audio again. I don't know. Maybe that was an old message, everybody. How is the audio? It's going to be hard to get this video out. I can tell you right now. People, and Satan does not want this conclusion. I'm building up to the conclusion. Satan does not want this out there. Well, my YouTube says it's okay, so let me continue. Let me see. What did I do? Scene 7. Okay, I did that one. I think I had to do the 8. Just a minute. Here we go. After that pause, there was suddenly another 3 jets that came by, and they stopped in front of the window. I saw they were all in the same formation, 1, 2, 3, wingtip to wingtip. They all had red and yellow lights on top and bottom of the jets. These guys were headed south, and they were flying even faster than the other 2. And then they flew off just as fast as the first jets did, the ones heading north. But there was that pause. They stopped so I could see them real quick, and then they took off again. Those F-16s going at high speed once again. And these have their red and yellow lights going on. I think I mentioned that the red and yellow lights indicate stop and caution, danger and caution. They also indicate to me a domestic flight. As you know, domestic planes, when they're flying, they have flashing lights so that they can be seen. And is this? I get another message from Sam that there's no audio. I have to keep checking the. Dale Fody says, I hear you fine. Okay. I don't know where these messages are coming from. Well, you can hear them. I put the phone here specifically because I knew we were going to have problems. Okay, let's read Dana's next slide I have of his dream. And this last one we just read, the jet's flying faster and faster. That means the threat is getting closer and closer and more imminent. The black skies of September. And at this point, I get up from my chair. I walk to the window, and I'm looking outside, and I immediately heard more jets coming, but I can't see them, and the sky is pitch black. I can't see anything else out there. Then another 3 jets appeared, like over me, and I'm seeing the backside of those 3 jets going away from me. I can see the afterburners on those engines. I can see the fire, the flame. And now they just take off, and they're heading west as fast as they can. They came from the east, and they drop down in front of the church window, and they just take off crazy fast. Now, I don't think these have no lights flashing. I think that indicates that now the battle is over America. When they go straight up, that means that the attack is right overhead. I suspect bombers. I'm sure that the fighters are going up to intercept overhead. And I explained that before when I did Dana's dream. Let me do the next slide I have. This is slide number 10 of Dana's dream. I did not see any flashing lights on this one because they did pause right in front of the window, but all I could see was the exhaust and the flames coming off to move them. No flashing lights, and then just sped out. Maybe you know my estimation was maybe a mile or two, and then suddenly they just went straight up, and I mean just straight up. And I got to see those 3 F-16s in formation, all 3, wingtip to wingtip, but no lights flashing. And they went straight up, and then I heard a sonic boom, 1 sonic boom, not 3, 1 sonic boom, and they were gone. I mean, they were gone. So as I said, I think I jumped ahead of myself. The no flashing lights indicate that this battle is in this country. They're not trying to give away their location. That's what the flashing lights would. They've turned off the flashing lights. They don't want to be seen. Flying directly overhead, straight up, indicates that the enemy is now over this country, and the enemy is here in this country. As I say, this will occur in September. Okay, let me go to the next slide. I have one more slide of Dana's dream, and then Amanda will explain what's going on. I pressed my face against the glass. There's nothing outside but pitch black sky. 3 had gone north, 3 had gone south, 3 had started west, and then went straight up at great speed. And I was very perplexed. When the man that I see in my dreams walked over right in from the window, and I could see his face, he pointed up and he said this, "Up is coming and it is beginning. All that you have braced for is for now. Up is coming and it's beginning. All that you have braced for is for now. Stay braced and ready, eyes on the prize. Be steady in your steps." So this is the second bear in Dana's dream, but it's actually the last bear in the prophecy. And in order to understand what's going on, we have to look at Amanda's dream. And we have to look at the second bear in Amanda, not the last dream, not the last bear, the second bear. Because the chronology in Amanda's dream must be seen as the same as the chronology in Dana's dream. And it is complicated. It's sealed up. This prophecy is sealed up, just like prophecy in the Bible, just like Daniel's prophecy is sealed up. This prophecy must be unsealed in order to understand it. And I would love to hear your comments on this. So now let's see what how Amanda describes this this last scene in Daniel. Remember, in the last thing we just had about Amanda, she saw lots and lots of bears in her yard, and she sees a small bear and decides to pick it up. So let's pick up the story at this point. "Then I picked the bear up with my hands. When I picked the baby bear up, I look, and there is this huge bear, way bigger than the first one. It was huge, and it had 3 things in its mouth. I don't know what it was, but it was 3 things. And of course, we know that they're ribs. And it was, on 4 legs, doing something with these 3 things in his mouth. But then he stands up. When it is standing up, I freaked out and dropped the baby bear and said, 'Let's run from here.' And we ran to the shed." So now we know what's going to happen in September. If you know what Daniel is talking about, the 3 ribs in the bear represent Britain, America, and Russia itself. This is the World War III. The bear is told to arise and devour much flesh in Daniel. So that's what is going to happen in September. This is the black. That's why the sky turns black. Now, how can this be if the bear has been defeated, as we see in the shed? Because the bear is not, in this case, threatening Ukraine, a little country. In this case, the bear is going to chastise America. The bear is doing God's willing. This is not the same bear. This is not the bear with an evil face. This is the bear with 3 ribs in his mouth. And you have to read this in the order that is given. So, is the media correct? The New York Times, the PBS, Drudge Report, and I showed you those I'm not going to show them again. I showed you the headline. I don't know if I read these or not. I showed the headlines, but I don't know if they were sound or not. Ukraine invasion imminent. Russia, USA pull diplomats. Biden calls Putin. Oil spikes. Dana and Amanda saying that that will not happen. That is caused by a satanic bear when the Russia is under the control of Satan. That's the old face that Amanda sees. And that bear is defeated by the wall that is associated with Mary, 555, a blue wall, with the Immaculate Heart on it. That's what's going to prevent a Russia-Ukraine war, the Russia invading Ukraine. So when does this happen? In September. If this is a chastisement from God on America, when is the bear going to arise and devour those 3 ribs? By the way, don't listen to, what's his name, Stan Johnson on the Prophecy Club. He says the 3 ribs represent Estonia and Latvia and Ukraine. Well, I don't think so. In a way, I kind of hope I'm wrong. It'd be better to have a war over there than in this property, in our country. But I think Amanda and Dana are warning us. Now, as you know, 1 year ago today, on Super Bowl Sunday, and here's what I'm leading up to, is when this is going to occur in September. 1 year ago today, Sister Renee received a miraculous photograph from the Lord. And I've showed this a gazillion times on here. Sandra Levini will say I've shown it too many times, but I'm going to show it once more. Because it shows a naked harlot at the foot of the cross. The naked harlot refers to Britain and America primarily. Actually, it refers to all the decadent West in the book of Revelation. But Babylon, the harlot, is described as wearing fine linen and red and purple and scarlet. So why is she naked? She is naked after she is burned with fire, as I have explained. Now, this is Sister Renee's photograph that she received. You see the naked harlot at the bottom. I hope it's not too sensual, or then I'm going to have to pay for that in purgatory. But it shows that America, the naked harlot, is not going to repent and accept Jesus on a crucifix until after she is burnt with fire. So, what is significant about the timing of Sister Renee receiving that photograph on Super Bowl Sunday exactly a year ago, is that it's prophesied in the Jacinta 1972 photograph. This is from Bayside. Mary said this picture contains the day, the month, the hour, the year of the chastisement. Well, if you look at 2, that is when Sister Renee got her photograph last year, February. She got it on the 7th. She got it at the 9 o'clock hour in Bayside. And she got it in 2021. Sister Renee's photograph showing the harlot being burnt with fire in 1 hour refers to the chastisement of the United States. If you look at this part of the Jacinta 1972 photograph, that's the United States up there. But I think this photograph also tells us when in September Dana's dream is going to come true. Or his, was it his vision? No, his dream. The first, remember Mary said this photograph contains the day, the month, the hour, the year of the chastisement. She says it in that order. The day is the 1st. The month is September. The hour is 7 a.m. And the year is 2022. So I think that Dana's dream and Amanda's dream and the Jacinta 1972 photograph are all related. And we've been told the date that Russia will attack America. And I hope the sound has not gone out. I hope that you got that message. The solution is given. I think we are going to be shown that Russia's attack on Ukraine, which has been predicted all over the place, that can be stopped through Mary's Rosary by our remnant church. That's what Amanda is saying. That's what Dana is saying. That's what all that numerical symbolism is all about. And we have 5 months to convert America so that we will start praying Mary's Rosary. 5 months before September, after March, after the March flare-up. April, May, June, July, August, 5 months. UL Film, one of my subscribers, says that the 5 months represent Mary's Rosary also. They do. And in those 5 months, there are 153 days. That also represents Mary's Rosary, because there are 153 Hail Marys in a 5-decade mystery of the Rosary. It's amazing that neither Dana Coverstone nor Amanda are Catholic, and they are giving prophecies about the Rosary. I think one of the reasons the Lord chose them is to show that it's not a Catholic prophecy about the Rosary. All that that's the same numerology that we find in the Bible. And I've done many videos showing you that in the Olivet Discourse, Jesus has broken up the Olivet Discourse into a series of verses in which the 666 verses of the tribulation are followed by the 555 victories of triumph. So this channel will continue praying the Rosary. We are the remnant church that Amanda was talking about. And many of us are in our refuges. We're already in our sheds. That's where the Russian bear is prevented from attacking Ukraine. I think this will happen very quickly. And I invite everyone to join me, but many other people, praying live rosaries. You don't have to pray live. Some people don't. Sister Renee does not like to pray live with other people on the internet, and I don't. In a way, I understand that myself. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. So I invite everyone who watches this Decode start praying the Rosary to save America. It can be prevented, just like this invasion of Ukraine by Russia can be prevented. The last part of Dana's dream. That reminds me, the Thanksgiving dream is tied into this, which Dana calls his Rockwell dream. He just received that yesterday. I will be doing a decode of that in another couple of days. It is tied into this dream. Okay, everybody, that is the conclusion of my decode. It's taken a little longer than I thought, but we've had a lot of problems. And if I got this much out, I'll be surprised, because I really don't think Satan wanted this information out there. And I think I'm right on it, but the last decode, quite a few people added to it, and I may not have gotten all of the points I wanted to make. I think I did. Somebody's talking about the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl. Some people say the Super Bowl today, between the Bengals and the Rams, symbolized between China and the United States, because the ram is part of Daniel's prophecy in chapter 8. The ram represents the same as the bear, not the bear, as the scarlet beast. In other words, Britain and Russia. And if we're defeated by the Bengals, this is the year of the tiger in China. Okay, I'm going to do it real quickly, because I don't like to go over an hour in these programs. I know we're already up to an hour. So let's just take a quick look at the chat and mention people who are here. Let's see. And that reminds me, Sam will be doing a live stream rosary in just a short while, in 3/4 of an hour on DLive. Okay, everybody is here that I recognize a lot of names. I'm not even going to mention everybody's names, because I want to see if anybody has a comment on the dreams. Judith Gobriel, I think you're new on here, Judith, so welcome aboard. She says she can't hear me. I can't believe it. What I will have to do is I will edit that out. I had to do that with my last video. Of course, I don't blame myself. I like to blame Satan. It could be that maybe I just need a new microphone or a new computer or something else, but it's never my own fault. Carol says, can someone call William? So thank you for calling me. Both Sam and Adam and Nancy called me to let me know. And then they came back. Boot Resources checks in from Nigeria. Thanks, Boot. Who else have we got here? Dovely is here. I'm going to get quite a few new people. Martin Leal is here. So I'm glad to see new people here. CJY. So welcome aboard, all you new people. Did I give you my address? I don't think I gave you my address. So if there's new people here, I should take advantage of that. Now I can't even find my... No, I'm not going to worry about it. If you want my address, you'll have to tune in to the Rosary tomorrow morning or any of the other rosaries that I've said on here. Mike Harrington says it's loud and clear in South Mississippi. Do you feel a little better now about the invasion of Russia invading Ukraine? I really believe that Dana and Amanda are telling us it's not going to happen due to our prayers. But in September, something far worse is going to happen, because then God will give the authority to Russia to chastise the United States. Okay, I'm just going to... let's see. Sam had to delete a troll already. I think I'm just going to... you'll have to... Let's see. Retro Tygo says, Mr. Tapp, you sent me a sticker a decade ago. I still have it. Well, thank you, Retro. Carolyn says the chastisement of America occurs before September. Well, the bears the bear enters into Amanda's house, remember. That corresponds to March. So, but I think that it's going to be played down, and I think the bears will be entering Amanda's house. The Lord told Amanda that her house represents the United States, and the fence around her yard represents the borders, and of course the border wall has been breached on purpose. Okay, so I think that's it, everybody. John Paul says, wait, I just got here. What's September? How did we get that month? September is his dream. And Danny Coverstone's dream. I just read that. Right? Yeah, September is when the sky turns black. Okay, everybody. Well, it's been fun. You wouldn't believe I worked all day yesterday and all day today trying to make this smooth. Well, that's about as smooth as we can make it. Sorry about that. So now, remember, 3/4 of an hour from now, Sam Fisher will be on D-Live doing a live stream rosary, and that's what I keep telling us. It's up to us, Remnant, the praying church, as Amanda calls us. We are the praying church. We're going to prevent Russia invading Ukraine, but can we prevent Russia attacking the United States? Can we do that? That's our huge challenge as far as I understand these streams. So until I do see all of you again tomorrow, same time, same station, may God bless all of you, and may all of you have a very blessed evening.